The journey to our purest form is similar to that of ascending a mountain. Many decide never to attempt it. Most who do are met with challenges and for one reason or another call their journey off. However, a rare few reach the peak. Today we will be doing it together. I would like you now to imagine yourself at the base of your own mountain. Take a moment to catch a glimpse of the peak. Your true self awaits you there. Relax. We will ascend through the 7 stages of the mountain together. Let us begin our ascent. As we begin making our way to the first stage, we take a second to look back and notice that few people are making the ascent with us. Courageous. We will be rewarded for our efforts. The action and thoughts of others are of no interest to us on the quest to the peak. We've now reached the first stage. Although an accomplishment in and of itself, the peak of the mountain seems a lifetime away. Fear starts to surge through your body. What if we fail? What will people say? I won't be able to do it. Relax. I promised you I would help you to the top. For us to continue though, you must let the fear flow through you. The acceptance of fear rather than the resistance of it will allow it to flow. Take a moment now to visualize what you fear, whatever it may be. Everyone has fears. It doesn't mean that you are weak, only that you are human. When we accept our fears, we will be able to ascend past the first stage. Take a minute to visualize and accept your fears. Well done! I always knew you had it in you. Let us continue up the mountain. The view as we continue to make our way up is becoming more and more magical, clearing your mind. The confidence is slowly starting to build within you. The second stage begins coming into view. Excitement runs through your veins. We're making our way to the peak, to our true self. There are many people waiting on the second stage. They say nothing, but their faces tell 1,000 words. Lost in themselves. Lost in their guilt. No one is perfect. No one is free from sin. To continue to ascend to our true self, past the second stage of our mountain, we bring to our conscious mind the guilt and blame towards ourselves that we hold, and then forgive ourselves, for we are only human. I'm excited to see the glow of freedom you will embody once you've forgiven yourself. Take a minute to bring to light the guilt you carry. You're brave. Once it is clear in your mind, accept that it happened. Offer no excuse, none other than you are human, and it is part of your condition to make mistakes. Free yourself with acceptance of your past mistakes. You made it! That was a tricky one. Many people can get stuck on that stage. Can you feel the difference? Ascending our mountain rewards us with gifts of liberation, feeling peaceful. Let's continue. There are beautiful birds accompanying us now as we continue our ascent, singing the sweetest of songs, a beautiful soundtrack on our quest for liberation. Although we are carrying the same items we were carrying from the base of the mountain, we feel lighter, freer, further assuring us that the journey to the peak was the right decision. The birds decide to make their way to another traveller just before we reach the third stage. Thoughts of what could be ahead begin to run through your mind. But this time, there's stillness. The memory of how you overcame the previous challenges bring a state of calm to the anticipation. As our feet touch the flat ground of the third stage, we encounter a mirror the size and width of a small house. Other travellers are standing in front of it, seemingly frozen by their own reflection. As we move closer, we begin to hear some of their voices under their breath. I disappointed myself. I couldn't help them. I wasted my youth. It is the inability to let go of what brings us shame that will keep us on this stage. Take a moment to look into the mirror. What do you see? What brings you shame? Once the image is clear in your mind, see it for what it is. An experience. Let go of it, like you would a leaf at the edge of the mountain, allowing it to float away. I see your soul smiling, lighter, more room for love. It is beautiful watching you transcend closer and closer to your purest form. An honor it is for me to accompany you to the top. We take a moment between the third and fourth stage to take in the expanse of land beneath us. Our perspective on our reality is shifting, freer, liberating. A smile finds its way onto your face, beaming. Excitement for more has you turning and continuing up the mountain, and I follow along. Water begins trickling down the mountain. We look up to the sky and notice it is clear as our hearts. Yet the water still continues to run down the mountain. Not rain. Then what? We persevere, and although it is a bit tricky, make it to the fourth stage. Tears! They were tears! A symphony of sobbing, people on their knees, holding themselves, crying, the tears rolling down their cheeks, trickling to the edge of the mountain before making its descent. What can make so many people cry? Enough to send waves of tears down the mountain. Sadness. Resistance to loss. It is the way of the world that what once exists must one day cease to exist. Reality. Yet those around us, these weeping folk, choose not to accept this fact. To know what waits for us on the peak, we must overcome this stage. Bring forth your sadness and the memory of those who you've lost, yet not accepted the fact of. We must accept the natural cycle of life and acknowledge that with the closing of one door, the opening of others can take place. This is the law of life. Through holding on when one's time has passed, we leave ourselves unable to see new doors opening and weep like those around us. Brave. Your heart has accepted the law of life. For that you will be rewarded. We continue our way up the mountain. As we begin moving closer and closer to the peak, your heart starts to beat faster. The anticipation, excitement, the treasure awaiting you. You hear a sound. Not human, but moving in our direction. What animal would be around here? You look in the direction that you hear it coming from, and it slowly comes into view. A dog! Gentle and warm, he makes no attempt to harm. He treats you like a long-lost friend, excited to be in your presence, happy to see you transcending. He joins us on our ascent, and you think to yourself, maybe there was something to the doors closing and opening. It doesn't take us too much longer to reach the 5th stage. Our new companion was very excited to be in our company. His energy seems to have rubbed off on us. The 5th stage is quite a strange one. There seems to be no restriction to ascend this stage of the mountain, yet countless people are waiting here trying to ascend, but seem to be stopped by some invisible wall. The wall that stops them is truth. Those that are not true to themselves cannot pass this stage. Authenticity. Who are you? Not what have you convinced others you are, and even yourself. If the world didn't put you in a box, who would you be? If society accepted you, regardless of what you did, who would you be? This is you. You must accept you to transcend. Look deep within yourself. Acknowledge what you have told yourself about yourself. If it is false, release it. The journey above requires us to shed this weight for the chance of reaching the summit to be possible. The crowd watched you in amazement as you walk through the seemingly invisible wall and continue your ascent. You've accepted yourself for who you are. You are realizing levels of freedom few have ever experienced. The dog continues to bound around with glee, an embodiment of life's joy, a true delight to be around, only possible thanks to your ability to overcome the previous challenges. The peak is now within reach. Not long to go. Not long until you meet your purest form. The air becomes sweeter. You take a deep breath of air into your lungs. The feeling of euphoria finds itself running through your veins, revitalizing. As we continue the ascent, taking deep breaths into your belly becomes the norm rather than the exception. Holding it momentarily before releasing it completely. Enjoying its meditative and healing effects. We've now reached the 6th stage. A large circle of people are holding hands. They seem to be waiting for you to join. I walk over with you. You then link hands with the 2 people on either side of you and complete the circle. The moment you do, you lose sight for a split second, and then it reappears. But it is not from your eyes. You see the ocean and how it is connected to land, the moon and the sun, the angry and the happy, the poor and the rich. All of these images flashing in your mind. Then your sight disappears again for a second, before returning to the sight from your eyes. The realization dawns on you. We are all connected. Together with those you've held hands with, we begin our ascent to the final stage, the peak of the mountain. There are smiles, laughter, and excitement in the air. Oh, so close we are now to our purest form. What a wonderful experience this has been, but still there is more treasure waiting for us. What a wonderful experience this has been, but still there is more treasure waiting for us. Our dog is bounding about as he has been since we met him, playing with new friends too that accompanied some of the other travellers. Everyone is at peace with one another, happy to be among one another, protective of one another, warm and loving towards each other. The 7th and final stage is only moments away. How delightful. Our true self awaits us. When our feet finally find the ground of the 7th stage, we are met by a final challenge. A warm and bubbly lady walks over to us, ever the embodiment of positivity. She asked us to follow her, and we do. She eventually stops and motions to the top. You are now 20 steps away from the peak, she says. Past this point, the air is too heavy to carry attachments. Please give me your attachments so that I can dispose of them before you continue to the top, she says. The energy in the group changes noticeably. To be light enough to reach our purest form, we must release ourselves from what we have come to love. Our purest form requires us to be absolutely free in spirit. Take a moment to think of all the things that you are attached to. Then, let them go. Few reach this stage. I always knew it was within you to do it. It is now time for me to go too. My task of helping you reach your purest form is complete. May you bathe in the pure cosmic energy of your soul. You have reached your purest self.